you spend a little more money on the front end, but the return is there.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets show. Today we've got Ryan Major with us. Now, she did want me to say right off the bat, she's a woman, it's not a guy. We'll open up more about her childhood in a second and her hot pink branding. But she runs a major Keller Williams team. In 2019, she did 52 deals as a complete solo agent. No TC, no nothing. In 2021, closed 100 deals with a couple of agents on a team. And in 2022, the goal is to do 227 exactly, not one more, not one less, 227 exactly. So today we're going to be discussing working by referral, going from an individual agent to a team, and building a big business whilst being a wife and mother. Ryan, the woman, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Thank you.
Lady boss in the house.
I love it.
That was good.
I mean, we were just discussing off air, and it's like Ryan, yeah, all my branding is hot pink, so it's like people know that I'm a woman. So take us back to birth.
Well, so my great-grandmother's name was Mary Ryan, and she passed away before I was born. And so I was actually 3 months early. And back in 1980 something, when I was born and you were 3 months early, they did like general anesthesia, C-section, fast, right? So my mom was conked out, and they came in and they had briefly discussed the name. And this is the way I remember the story. So when she listens to this, hopefully I'm right. They briefly discussed the name. Dad just went ahead and said, yep, that's what we're doing. So then when she woke up, they were like, here's Ryan. And she was like, oh, or did we go with that? Okay. We'll have to have a fact check on that one from the McCarty family. But yeah, so named Ryan Michelle. And so very frequently I will have people call. And as soon as they call and they get me on the phone, there's always a question. I was getting my hair done a couple weeks ago, and 3 like middle-aged, older, like you could tell they were probably like 55, 65 years old. These men call, and they're all 3 of them right in a row had a comment about my name. And finally, the last one, and the girl that does my hair, she's been doing my hair for a long time. She just cracks up. So I answer, and I'm like, hello, major team, this is Ryan. And he's like, oh, you're a woman. And I'm like, oh, and you're a man. Do you want to buy a house? And he was like, I'm like, why do we have to have this conversation? But anyway, it's a conversation starter. It's an icebreaker. It's always good for sales. So
I was going to say, the thing you've got, right, is you've got an amazing icebreaker. Like, it's just something that, like, you just rock it. And it's like that thing that you just leverage. It's something so unique. And it's like, yeah, you want to buy a house then? You're like, well, yeah. I mean, all right, let's get done.
Yeah.
I love that.
Awesome.
So the way we like to start these, we don't usually go back to birth. This is it's a world's first on Elite Agent Secrets to go back to birth. But what we usually like to do is take us back. So how long have you been in real estate in total? And then why did you get started? Like, take us back. Like, what were you doing before? Why did you come into this crazy world? And then walk us through your first few years to where we kind of are now, with regards to like transactions and sales and all that good stuff.
Yeah, perfect. So I married my college sweetheart in 2008. And we both graduated from Texas State University. I went to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They really give you the tools for your future. And so I went to work for Enterprise right out of college. And I worked there for a few years, had my own store I was working at and running stuff. And then he got a job offer to take us to the Washington, D.C. area. And so I transferred there. Right as we were transferring, I found out I was pregnant with she's now almost 11-year-old. And so after I had her, I just didn't go back. And then I stayed home for a couple years. And while we were in Virginia, I started a concierge personal training business. It was very fancy and I made $0, but it was fun and I loved it. And then we came home for Christmas a couple years after that. And I was like, okay, I don't want to go back to Virginia. I want to stay in Texas. And my husband was like, well, but we live in Virginia, so get in the car. And it was about 8 months later, we were able to get him a job transfer to the Tyler, Texas location of his job. And I'm being weird about his job because he works for the federal government. So just, you can make up whatever you want to in your mind about that.
I'm thinking like Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, CIA. Like I'm going
totally,
there.
Yeah, totally underground, like secret missions, all that.
That's the best.
In Tyler, Texas.
Yeah.
So we got the job.
I will give you a quick factoid. This is totally true, by the way. There's a place in England called Milton Keynes, and it's just nothing. It's like, it's just a terrible place. Everyone listen to it. Prove me wrong. I've lived there, right? Believe it or not, it's where MI6, which is like the secret service of the UK, so they're like James Bond's MI6. It's actually where they train. And it is like the most bland place in the whole fucking world. And it's actually where they train, a part of the thing. So anyway, so they could train in Texas because you wouldn't expect it.
No. So he got a job transferred to Tyler. And he called me that day. He's like, hey, they offered me Tyler. And I'm like, oh, cool. I've never been there. It's about 300 miles from where I grew up in Texas. And I was like, I think I have one friend from high school who like works at the Catholic Church in Tyler. Yeah, let's go. Screw it. Let's see what happens. So we took the job and moved here. And I had a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I had always gone, this is a really ridiculous reason to get your real estate license, but I had always gone to a gym with childcare and there wasn't one in our town that we lived in because we live in Lindale. And so I'm like, okay, well, we got to do something. So I was still health coaching and doing my thing. And I wasn't making any money. And I really, really, really wanted to show horses again, because that's part of my story, part of my childhood. My dad's a horse trainer. And my husband's like, well, that's great that you want horses. You need to get a real job. And I was like, okay, cool. So he was very encouraging that, you know, whatever you want to do, let's do it. So I got my real estate license, and that was in 2015. And we very quickly found out that I was pretty good at it. So I got my license in May, started really selling in June, and I did 15 deals that first 6 months.
No.
And it was awesome.
Wow.
It was awesome. And I think one of the things that I like to coach around with newer agents is like, I knew one person who worked at the Catholic Church when I moved to this town. And that cannot be a limiting belief for people that like, well, I don't have a sphere. Nobody in my sphere can buy a house. Like, if there's not any limitation on your ability to go out and have a conversation with people and make a friend, like if you don't have a friend, go make a friend. Like, just go figure it out. So that was the first year. And I was at a smaller mom and pop agency here in Lindale, Texas, which our population in the town that I actually live in is about 4,800. And so we are kind of a bedroom community for the Tyler area. So for those of you that don't know, it's 90 miles east of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So towards Louisiana. So that was 2015. 2016, I kind of rocked along. I think I did 30 deals that year. 2017, about the same. And I was consistently seeing myself as the top producer in this smaller brokerage. And then in 2018, I didn't win top producer. And I was so mad. I was like so mad. So in 2019, I was like, all right, guys, watch this. Like, it's about to go down. So I like threw my foot on the gas pedal. I quit drinking alcohol completely, which is part of my story. I've been sober since 2019. I was very much into the mommy wine culture. So got that handled. So 2019, quit drinking. And lo and behold, like when you don't have lunch drinks, you can sell a lot more houses. So I started just going really hard. And at the end of 2019, I was like, oh, wow, I just sold 52 houses. Like, I don't have an assistant. I don't have a TC. I need a nap. So I started hiring for an assistant. And y'all are going to hear a lot about Megan today. She is, I call her my wife. She's my work wife. She runs the show here, and she has been pivotal in the growth of the major team. There would be no major team without Megan. Like, let me just put that right out there. She's awesome. So I hired Megan, and when I hired her, I had a yellow legal pad, which I used to run my life on legal pads and sticky notes. So y'all will be happy to know I don't do that anymore, thanks to Megan. So I handed her this legal pad, and it was front and back, like 6 pages of notes. And I was like, here's all the shit I don't want to do anymore. Like, I can't. You take that. That's your job. And she was like, okay, awesome. We're going to get a system. So she systematized the whole thing. And then right after that, like 3 weeks after that, a friend of mine who's with KW, our kids were on the same basketball team that year. She's like, hey, let's go to coffee. And I'm like, oh, I told my husband, I said, she's going to try to recruit me. Or I said 3 things. She wants to come here. She wants me to go there, or she wants us to branch off and start our own thing. And my husband, being very just like chill, he goes, or it's just coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not just coffee. That's not what this is. So we went to coffee, and she's like, hey, let me just show you the difference in your income if you had been here versus there. And let me show you some of the tech that we have and some of the opportunities that you have here at KW. And I was like, fine. So she did. And she like showed me this number, and I was like, damn, that's a lot of money. Okay, set the meeting with the team leader. So that was like on Monday. Then on Thursday, I met with the team leader, but we met in secret. I was like, I don't want anybody to see my car at the office, so let's meet at your house. So like me and my friend went to his house, like sat at his kitchen table, and he did his deal. And so we moved the business to KW. And then the world shut down. And so it was like, oh, great. We just took this huge risk. We spent all this money to rebrand. Keller Williams took this risk and paid for all our signs and all this stuff. And now COVID. And so we dove in headfirst into the opportunities that we had there, the different trainings, all that. And it was awesome. And we never slowed down. We just kept going. And then in June of 2020, we were allowed to have open houses again. And I've had the opportunity to work for the same builder since 2015. And I do a lot of new construction for him, but he's not my only client. I mean, it's not like I'm a builder agent. I just have to clarify because I know there's a lot. So we had, I think, 10 houses being held open in the same day as we launched the second phase of this neighborhood. And I needed help. So I put a thing out, and I was like, okay, who wants to help me hold houses open? So these 2 guys said, yeah, we want to help. And so they held a couple open. And at the end of that week, they were like, you need a team. Like, you can't do this on your own. And I was like, yeah, I know. And it didn't look right on paper. Like, I love them to death. And I would say this if they were sitting here, right? But like, all my stuff is pink, and that there's glitter everywhere, and it's like super girly. And they were 2 50-year-old-ish dudes. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, like, come on. So they joined the team, and we figured it out as we've gone. And since then, one of them, Tony, he went back to teaching school. He realized that's really where his heart was. So for most of last year, it was just me and Brian. And Brian's awesome. He has no desire to lead gen. So he's happy to just take my leads and go help the people. And he's wonderful. And we tease him about being old all the time. And then, so it's just me and Brian. And then we hired Macy as an assistant while she was getting licensed. But she was a terrible assistant. And she will tell you that. She's like, I did not like it. I knew I just wanted to sell. I'm like, how fast can I get my license so I can join the sales team? So then, I don't know, like September, sometime last year, Macy joined the sales team. And then between October and December, I hired 3 more. So now, as we went into 2022, it's myself, 5 agents. Megan is running the show behind the scenes as the operations manager. We have Beth, who is our executive assistant, who helps me manage my life, which is the only reason I was on time today. And then Lyndon is our phenomenal virtual assistant, who's actually in the Philippines, and he handles all of our contract to close. So that was a lot of words. But as of today, I believe we've already closed, I don't know, like 13 transactions for like 5 million in 2022. And there's another 20 something pending right now. So that's where we're at.
That's insane.
That is, yeah. Andrew, you said it. I was thinking the same thing. I got one question that really stuck out to me because we also use a lot of and leverage a lot of virtual talent. And I know Andrew's going to have his own questions. But what does your virtual assistant do? You say he like does some of the outbound calling or reaching out to the leads?
No, he doesn't do any sales. He is there to support the agents. And so every time, because I mean, I'm sure you'll have a lot of KW agents come on, but we have a compliance department. So once you get a contract, it has to pass through compliance before they'll issue your dispersal. So we like to get paid at the table. And unfortunately, realtors aren't good at details. So we like to have someone to have our back on that. So he takes all the contracts from contract to close, gets them through compliance. He's communicating with the title companies on our behalf. He actually will communicate with the clients and the other agent throughout the transaction just to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and the contracts are dated. He also keeps track of all of our caps on the team. So he's managing all of our commissions and he's seeing like, okay, so it looks like Ryan is going to cap on December 5th. So then he'll alert the market center so that their girl that does the DAs knows and she can see that coming rather than it kind of getting delayed and then they take too much out and we have to get a refund and it's annoying. So he manages all of that. What else does he do? He helps with our social media. So Megan has created a bunch of templates and so he's able to plug and play and put them in. And he likes the graphic design part. We have been very, very blessed by him. I know a lot of people when they hire a virtual assistant, it might take them a couple times to find the right fit, but he was just great from the get-go. I will say he's getting better at understanding my sarcasm. Like when he first started working with us,
definitely a little bit of a difference in culture. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's like, I could tell he wanted to be like, Megan, is she joking or is she serious? Like, because I'm always like, Lyndon, just move to the United States. You can live in my guest room, and like I mean it. And he doesn't. He's like, is she really? I'm like, no, really. Like, come here. But
I'm seriously looking at flights right now.
Yeah, he's like,
it's interesting because I thought you said contract to close. So to my definition was exactly what you explained. But you're the first person that we're speaking to that actually has a virtual assistant that allows them to handle what happens after the transaction. Most of the time, what we see from the virtual assistant is like you have an ISA type of role for a virtual assistant instead, where they are actually just making that outbound call, trying to make a connection and then transfer over because they cannot talk anything regarding sales in most brokerages for compliance reasons, right? So
right.
It's interesting that you're leveraging him, or it's him, right? Yeah, you're leveraging him from after you get the contract because those are the things that I'm a control freak about. But I'm also not doing the transactions that you are. So that tells me that I need to probably step away from that process and let them do their thing.
Yeah, so he's acting almost like a transaction coordinator, but we don't allow him to write any. He can't write any contracts because he's not licensed. So we have to write everything, which balances out the control freak in me. I also am I'm very hands-on. We'll call it hands-on with my agent. And so whenever they write
terminologies you use, because they're a very positive take on other terminology other people would use, right? They're like, yeah, I'm hands-on. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm in it, and I'm in the trenches with you.
Is the other one. It's like, I am very detailed, and it's like, okay, you check everyone's shit constantly.
Constantly. And what I didn't tell you guys is that I have a degree in political communication. So I literally, that's what my degree is in, is wrap. Megan says I wrap everything in a pink glittery bow and hand it to him, and it makes him feel good even when I'm giving him bad news. And so that's where I'm that's what I'm doing. But yeah,
I need more of that. I'm just way too straightforward, and sometimes it does not come across well.
Yeah, you have to. Okay, I'm going to teach you something. It's called the sandwich. It's going to change the way you negotiate.
Okay.
So you say, what's up, Peter? You look amazing today. I love your glasses. We're going to terminate the contract. I always have so much fun working with you. We got to go get a cup of coffee. I
love it.
And so you're like, man, she likes my glasses. Oh, shit, they're terminating. That's okay. I'm getting coffee. It's the best. It's awesome. It's the best thing ever.
That's great.
My English teacher in high school taught me that. Mrs. Smith, we called her behind her back. We called her the nicest bitch in town because you never knew you were getting in trouble. You just sandwich. So
there we go.
anyway.
Top tip. That was a bonus tip for all our listeners.
That wasn't even.
One of the things I was going to roll because of the way you've grown your business. So interestingly enough, we've grown our business probably in a different manner, but exactly the same. Peter moved to Boca, selling homes, brand new agent, new place, no sphere, no nothing. Did 100K in 100 days in GCI. And it's like other people are going, well, you need a sphere, you need all this. And it's like, motherfuckers, we've just done 100K in 100 days. Like, what are you talking about? From nothing. And we do it through social media. This is like our avenue. We know digital marketing very well. And this is what, again, we help and teach people on. It's like, we just think it's the fastest path to cash, basically. That's because we just know it works and it's repeatable. But
especially for people like introverts, where I hate going out and doing things, talking to people. Ironically, I know it's crazy to say, but I hate just going out networking for coffee. And I was like, I got 2 kids, I got a wife. I want to spend as much time as I can with them. You know, I like my cars, I like to go on the boat, I like to enjoy my life and do all the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's been interesting. So working by referral in a small town where you're not related to anyone, right? Like
how the hell
there's another agent. Well, there's another agent in town and she started a couple of years after me, and man, she's related to the whole town. And when she first started, I was like, well, crap, here we go. But what I love is that there's enough for everybody. If you're willing to do the work and go out and really serve people and really let them be your voice. Right? Like give amazing service on a personal level. Don't make it transactional. Let them know you're in this together, right? Like I'm here for you. I love you. I love your family. I want to see you guys build wealth through real estate. I want to see you cash it in. I want to see you go buy something else. Like just this morning, right before we got on, one of my very best clients, my first client who ever gave me a shot, my first listing over $200,000, okay, in 2015. I sold that house, sold them a new house, sold that house, sold them a new house. And tomorrow we're listing the one they just bought in 2019 because they understand the power of real estate and wealth building. And so they're able to move up and move up and move up. And like, if we get what we want for the house, they're going to net 6 figures. And that's amazing, right? Like for 2 years. So anyway, when you come from contribution with your people, with your clients, and you let them know that you love them and you cherish their business and you don't make it transactional, they're going to send you every single person they know every time. And then they're going to go on Facebook and talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's the best because I'm all about social media. We leverage it very well too.
Yeah, it's so true. It's people, vendors, anyone you interact with, just be like a fucking decent human being. Like, just be like really good, really nice. Just show you actually care on it. It's not like a facade. Don't do it with the intention of getting business, and more business will come your way. It's kind of, so it feels like a catch-22. And it's the same way, Peter, I mean, what is for one of the first deals, it was like a buy, sell, buy, like right away. You know, it was like a weird, and it was like, and it was just, people were just like, yeah, we just enjoy working with you. So we also want to buy and we want to sell this one. So can you do that one too? Oh, and by the way, we've got a friend, my sister-in-law, she's actually looking as well. It's like, here we go. And it's like, holy shit. In our first month, there's 4 deals.
Working. Oh my God. Yeah. And that's the coolest thing. And I love working by agent referral also. So I think last year, there was a pretty decent percentage of our business was agent to agent referral. So I love doing stuff like this. Like if I see the opportunity to be on a podcast or be on a panel or speak somewhere, I'm going to take it because we found out yesterday that DeKalb County, Georgia, so Atlanta, Georgia residents search for homes in Smith County, Texas. They are the number 2 group that's searching out. So the first one is Dallas County, which that makes sense. They're right there. People want to get out of the city. They're going to come here. Great. That's fine. But DeKalb County, Georgia, that's Atlanta. So my girl, Latrissa, she's in Atlanta. I sent her a text message. I said, hey, did you know that your people in Atlanta want to come to Smith County? And did you know that I handle all of that? So I better get all those referrals. She's like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, good, let's go. So I love agent
writing that down. That is brilliant. Of like, especially because I'm in Florida, right? So Northeast, we got Philly, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago. Like I know they're coming down, but I got to figure out which one is coming down the most. So then you can make specific effort to reach out to the people that are coming down the most.
We found out last year that it was, there was like a lot of Oklahoma City. And so we had these postcards made. I should have grabbed one. They're in the other office, but they have it's like a big Texas, and it has the whole United States, and then like a little airplane flying to Northeast Texas that has a heart over Tyler. And it's all hot pink. It's super cute. And we have this one team picture where we're like all hands in, like we're going to, like huddle, like, yeah. And so anyway, it has that on it. And it's like, we're ready for your referrals. And Megan sent it to all the agents in Oklahoma. It was great. It was awesome.
I'm just
That's a great strategy. That's a bonus. Hold on. I got to write that one down too.
we're taking notes. It's gone from being a podcast to being a fucking coaching call. Let's go.
I'm also a real estate coach. I'm not taking any clients right now, but maybe I'll have a spot open up soon.
Love it.
So when you're building by referral, and you also said the second part is building the brand and having fun. I mean, everyone who's listened to the first part of this show is already telling you sound like a great fun to be around. Very sarcastic. I mean, English people are known for being sarcastic. I'm going to throw it out there. Americans, not so much. Like sarcasm is just not a big thing. Like I've lived in the States, and it's a struggle sometimes. And because I find that funny. Like I enjoy sarcasm as a sense of humor. So the fact that you're just ripping it out, and I can tell as well, and I'm like, I appreciate this.
It has to be raised. We had 3 channels growing up, and one of them was PBS, and they had all y'all's weird TV on at night, and that's like all I could watch. So I blame you. It's your fault.
So you had influence from us. That's why. So when it comes to having a fun and building a brand, so you touched on, obviously you've gone like crazy hot pink, basically very girly, like very brash branding. When it comes to building a brand, starting out, just some top tips for people who are looking at branding themselves. This is one of our I'd say we've got like 3 things we're huge on. Building a brand is the thing that we think every realtor should do the day they get licensed, purely because one of the biggest misnomers or misconceptions in real estate is people go with you because of your brokerage. And I'll tell you now, no one's going with Ryan Major because she's with KW. No one gives a shit. No one cares, right? And also, if you decide to go to, I don't know, Compass, EXP, Century 21 or whatever, you've got your major brand that goes everywhere because they just want to do business with the major team, Ryan Major, and it's done. So this is why we're so hot on it. It's like build a brand. You've got something that you own. It's an asset for your life. Like that's it. And just start now. So take us, starting brand new agent, if they're listening to this, or even someone a bit more seasoned that hasn't got a brand, where would you say they start? And what are some of the processes you've gone through to build your brand?
So I think for me, I always want to try to have a way to have fun while I'm doing it, right? So I've always been really big on closing gifts and just loving on my clients. I am an amazing gift giver. Let me just tell you, I love to give gifts. I love to receive gifts. It is my love language. I'm all good with the words of affirmation. You can tell me I'm great all day long. You can give me a hug. That's fantastic. But if you bring me a present, I'm like, thank you. I love you. Oh my God. What do you want? So I've always done that for my people. And part of that, you have to be branded, right? So when you find something that works for you, you got to roll with it. So that was kind of the start. And then really the branding super took off when we started the team. So I've had my own logo since 2017. I don't have anything with the old logo on it, but it's very similar. So this is the new logo. It's RMT, right? Ryan Major Team. Before it was RMM, Ryan Michelle Major.
Right.
And so when we started the team, we just threw the other M away and put a T in. And of course, everything hot pink. So in this, there's a hexagon, right? So then we put that through everything too. Hot pink, hexagon, whatever. And then you just have to be consistent, right? It's like the time on task over time. Everything you do, same color code. You make sure if you have a color if you're branding around a color, you find out what your color code is, and then you use that one and make sure it's not a weird one, because then you're going to piss all your print shop people off. So you got to make sure you have like magenta, whatever the color. Megan knows, I don't know what it is, but we picked an easy one. So that was good. And then you have to sit down and you have to figure out what is most important for you to convey to your people right away. Right. So, and when I say Megan is pivotal, y'all, she should really be in here because she kicks ass and she made me do this. So she made me sit down and she's like, we're going to figure out a promise for our clients. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she found this exercise, and there's like all these questions she asked me. And then she's like, she'd ask me the question and I'd answer it. And she'd be like, okay, well, what's the most important word in that question? What is the most important thing that you want to convey to your people in that question? And she'd circle that word. And so at the end of it, we had all these words. And then she's like, okay, now we have to build a sentence around it. So we had to find a sentence with all these words. So we came up with, the major team provides exceptional service with knowledge, professionalism, and fun, right? I needed them to know that we are educated, we are professional, and we are fun, and it's going to be awesome. And so that is how we did it. And so everything from that has been built around it, which has been great. So when you're having fun and you're building your brand, you have to figure out what you want to do and what works for you. So at the end of each closing, we all go in the parking lot and we shoot off confetti cannons. We actually have a partnership with Legend Cannons. So yay, we love Legend Cannons. They're biodegradable, so I don't get in trouble. I had to talk to the title companies before we started doing it, and they all said yes. And I think they didn't really realize like that it was going to be 3 cannons for each closing. So I had one of my main title companies, the owner was like, no more cannons in the parking lot. And I was like, guys, I can't close here anymore. So it's my brand. Like, my people expect it. So we actually are having to figure out something different to do with that area of business because it's part of it. So the clients love it. They think it's great.
Hold on. So Ryan, let me clarify this. Your title company is going to sacrifice over 200 deals. 200, what was the exact number?
227.
227 deals because of fucking confetti cannons? Is he out of his mind? Is he
that was
he's the party pooper here.
Total party pooper. I'm like, so then my team leader at KW was like, you need to call this other company and talk to Susan because she's a badass and she will totally let you shoot them off in the office. So I called Susan and I was like, this is what's going on. And they said I can't have a party in their parking lot and I'm mad. And she's like, bring it on, sister. So we'll see. We'll see if they notice. I hope that they will. I mean, it's not like it's not very much business, right?
I mean, that is seriously one of the single most stupid business decisions that guy could have made. Unless here's the other thing.
I would join in on the fun. I would ask you for a cannon.
Yeah, if he is,
right?
Yeah, I mean, unless he is a huge mortgage, here's the difference. If they're like huge, they're doing tens, hundreds of thousands of deals, then 200 is nothing. This is the thing.
Right.
But if it's like an indie brokerage style setup or a smaller one, it's like, that is stupid. Like, you got to make some sacrifices for 200 deals. Like, you can shoot off some fucking cannons. Like, just.
Well, it's not hurting anybody, right? It's not like you have to clean it up because it's biodegradable. It's not like you're doing any harm because you're doing it outside. It's not like you're creating them any extra work. This is the definition of being a Grinch.
Sign in the background. Like, I make sure the sign is in the background.
And you're promoting them.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we shoot off confetti cannons in the parking lot. We give super awesome branded gifts. I have a secret group called the Major Team VIPs for all of our clients who send us referrals. And you get invited into the Facebook group, and then you get invited to like special dinners and stuff. All that kind of stuff all plays in together. And then we're very meticulous with all of our agents and their branding. So we allow them to grow their own brand underneath the Major Team umbrella. We want them to be successful. We want them to grow their brand awareness also because it only helps us, right? Sign in the yard is sign in the yard. I don't care whose name's on it as long as it's pink. So as we go and they're doing their branding, I require that they have our pink threaded throughout. And of course, our logo, like Texas rules say, it has to have KW, has to have our logo, and then it can have theirs, right? So we keep it all in the family. Everybody's happy. And then we cross-post. So we use a program called Later, and it allows our admin staff to make one post and share it across all 6 Facebook pages. And you can buy up to, I think the program we have has room for like 50 accounts. So it cross-posts to Facebook and Instagram. And we don't even have to mess with it. They set it up, it all goes, it's easy. Hashtags are all the same, so it's directing traffic back. And so that's how we've managed our social media. And then you just have to be really real and be yourself, right? I used to spend all this time and effort to have these videos done of my listings. and it was like $1 million and nobody watched them. And then one day I was like, screw it, I'm just going live. So I go live on Facebook and I do a walkthrough of my listings, and people will watch them and they love them. They're like sharing it. They're laughing because I'm like tripping and falling or being stupid. Or I'll be like, I have this one listing right now that has a bunch of taxidermy in it. So like, you're like, there's a, like that stuff. So, you just have to be funny, and like people will watch it and they will love it. And then one of my agents, Macy, she's killing it on TikTok. And I haven't fallen down the TikTok hole because I don't think I'll come out of it. Like it might be 7 days of me in the office.
I think you'd crush it. I can imagine you totally crushing it. We had,
we're working on that.
One of the things that I want to kind of go back to, because you just casually cruised right over it, is you said you do branded gifts. What kind of branded gifts? Are we talking about, RTM t-shirts for your clients? Like what kind of gifts do you give to your clients? Because I know that's something that I'm trying to figure out.
I'll have her bring a t-shirt in so I can show you guys. So I had this idea a few months ago. It like woke me up in the night, and it was house hunting, right? So we're in Texas and hunting is a big deal. And so I'm like, how can we play on that? And my logo almost looks like a bullseye, right?
Right.
So we have house hunting t-shirts. So when the new buyers come in, we have a new buyer party. We don't call it a consultation. They come in for their party. They each get a t-shirt that says house hunting on the front, says major team on the back. They can wear it while they're looking with our agents. They get a bottle of water, a bag of trail mix, whatever. We send them out the door for their hunt. It's amazing. People love it.
Oh, so those are the t-shirts they get.
Heck yeah. I have friends that have major team t-shirts that wear them all over town that have never done a deal with me, but I buy the super soft ones so they want to wear them. And you spend a little more money on the front end, but the return is there. So we have t-shirts, we have koozies, we have keychains. The keychains are badass, and they go on the keys when they close, and they look like confetti. So they look like they have confetti on them, and they say the major team, and that goes on the keys when they close. We've got little sticky things for the back of your phone to hold your credit cards. What else? Oh, at Christmas, I send out ornaments that say major team VIP. Last year, they were actually carved out of wood. They were cool. They were a little Christmas tree. They were carved out of wood. They were painted black and then hot pink on the inside of the tree. So they were like 3D. And then on the back, it was like branded, like literally with a brand, Major Team VIP 2021. And so that went out to all the VIPs from last year. So those are just some of the things that we've done. And then we do gift baskets after closing. So a lot of times they'll have stuff in it all together like that. We have some candles, some hot pink candles that are branded, all kinds of stuff. We love it.
That's cool. I really like that. I like the idea that you do this stuff up front too, because then it's like it solidifies that relationship even more so that after they, you get them the t-shirts and whatnot.
Yeah. I joined a sorority in college for the t-shirts. So I know that like you can get people to spend money if you give them a free t-shirt.
Give them a free t-shirt. Well, oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our courses and coaching 100% free, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.